Howdy, Beefalo Bart here, and welcome. This is Unreal Engine 4, and what we're going to talk about today is setting up characters from the Polygon assets from Synty Studios. Really love these things. So what I've done is I've created a blank new project, and we're going to use the Polygon City. This is currently in 4.19.2, but this will work with any current version. So what we're going to do is, first off, is I'm going to click on the filters. Well, not filters, right here, so that I can see my content and everything here. There's nothing here. So what we want to do is set up a third-person example, which we can later change to a first-person if we want, just by changing the camera position. But the first thing I'm going to do is add new. I'm going to come over here to add feature or content pack, and I want to add third person. Now, the reason why I started this way instead of just starting with a third-person template, you can go either way. This is just my preference. So I'm going to add to project, and it's done. Now, really not worried about a whole lot of the stuff that's in here, the meshes and so forth, because what you're going to end up with is the third-person character, which we're sort of going to use, but not really. And we're going to have a third-person example map. I'm just on a blank map right now. This is good enough, but let's go ahead and go to the third-person example map, because if you started off with third-person template, this is what you're going to end up with. And the next thing I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and add the Polygon City pack, and all I'm going to do is scroll through my huge list of frickin' assets here. There's tons of stuff on here, and I've got this on a different monitor. And I'm going to add the Polygon City project, or add this to my project, and what am I calling this one? And Polygon City. Add a project, and bang, it's going to add it to there. It's not going to take long. The cache size is only 89.3 megabytes. The good thing about these Polygon assets is they're just low enough resolution to be able to be used on Android and other formats as well. I primarily only develop for PC stuff, so that's what I'm working with, is PC. So when we're looking at our map, the first thing we want to do is this guy here, we don't need him. Click on him, hit delete, get rid of him. This spinning thing here, I don't like it. Let's get rid of it. And this third person, well, that's nice, but we can actually change it in the details panel here and actually make it say I cannot spell. Synty Studios and Polygon City. There we go. Beautiful, huh? Yeah, if you want to change the size of it, the colors, you can do all that, but I'm actually just going to go ahead and delete it. So we have a nice clean map. I'm going to hit Save All, Save Selected, and Save Current. Make sure everything is good to go. Now, here's what I want to do. And whenever you're creating anything, don't get accustomed to using the original third-person BP and third-person folder. I use my own file structure, and you should get into the habit of doing that. So you can either select over here or here while you're in your base content folder. You want to right-click, create a new folder, and let's create one called Characters. And inside here, we want to create another folder called Players. And inside here, let's create one more called Blueprints. Now, is it necessary? But I like doing that, so that's what we're going to do. Now, we've got our third-person blueprint for our third-person character. I'm going to left-click on it, drag it over to my new Blueprints folder, and copy here, and then go into that folder, left-click on it, and I'm going to hit F2 to change the name. And we're going to call this our Polygon let's start off being correct. BP underscore Polygon underscore character. Long name, but naming convention is also very important. So BP underscore means it is a blueprint for our polygon, and character, we can do that, or we can actually call it PC for player character or whatever, but that's what we're going to work with. So I'm going to double click on that and actually go into it really quickly. When we first go in here, you've got a few options that we're going to look at. The Gamepad Input. I'm not going to use a gamepad, so I'm just going to delete that section. I'm not using VR, so I'm going to delete that. And I'm not using a touch input. You can leave these things in. It does not hurt a thing. I'm just weird. I just like doing that. So, get compile and save. And as you can see, we're using still this mannequin, and we're getting ready to change that. So we can close that file down. And what we've got here in Polygon City, if you open up this, you've got FX, which is cool. You got rain, steam, and rain splash. Maps, the demonstration maps that come with Synty Studio stuff, love them. You got to check them out. Even if you don't use them, you got to check them out. They're fun to play around with. And you got meshes folder. You open your meshes folder, and inside your characters folder, you've got all your different player characters. You got your skeletal meshes, your physics asset, and you've got a skeleton, which is here. Just one skeleton will work for all these different characters. Now, there's two different ways of doing this. One of the things that I normally do is I'm usually working with multiple of the Polygon asset packs, and you can actually combine, and we'll cover this on another video, and I'll actually take this one skeleton and make it work with all of their assets. So, really cool, but we're not going to do that this time. But if we look at it, we open it up, the skeleton itself, you can see it's using the guy with the bow tie here. So, or the tie. That's cool. This is all good. We're going to look at our Retargeting Manager. If you don't have this tab, all you have to do is hit Retargeting Manager or Retarget Manager, and it'll bring this up. What we're looking for is it says humanoid. But we can also see that our guy is in a T-pose. This is what normal developers do. They make their character with a T-pose. That's just the norm. That's what you do. Well, let's actually look at our mannequin folder, which is from creating our third-person example. And we're going to have an animations folder, characters folder, and mesh. Inside the mesh is our skeleton for our UE4 mannequin. Now, I'm going to go ahead and edit this one by opening up this. As you can see, he's in a Y pose. That's not going to work for us. Select rig. First thing we want to do is click on select rig. Again, if you don't have Retarget Manager, just click right there. Select humanoid rig. We want this. Now, all of these are going to be good to go. We don't have to change any of these. That's fine. But what we're going to have to do is change our mannequin. So left click on the upper arm and grab the yellow right here and drag. We want to raise this up by 50 on both sides. So we've brought them up to, say, -50. So that's going to be somewhat of a T-pose, but what we're missing out on here is the forearms. You can kind of pan around and look. His arms are bent. So what I want to do is now rotate it straight back 20 degrees. Same thing on the other side, back 20. So now our guy is in a perfect, somewhat T-pose. I mean, you could probably do that as well. Go down 10 on each one of those. So the arms are in a T-pose, and then raise the hand up 10 if you want to be really OCD like me. So now you have a good T-pose. What we need to do now is click on Modify Pose, and then Use Current Pose. Hit Save, and you can go ahead and close that. Now, I'm going to hit Save All, make sure everything is good to go. So our mannequin's now using that. Next thing we want to do in our Players folder is go ahead and create another folder called Animations. Now, even though we're only going to do one example right now, we're going to add a new folder, and we're going to call this Unarmed. Because right now in this example, we're going to have unarmed animations. Now, what we want to do is come down to our mannequin folder in animations, and you have all these animations and stuff are cool. But what we want is the animation blueprint. I'm going to double click on that, and we're going to have a couple things to do. So let's click on Anim Graph Default, and this is our calls for our animations. And we look at our animation graph. Well, I don't like things to be really out of whack and stuff. Things have to be neat. They have to be organized. I don't want that. I don't want that. I want this a bit more organized. And this is just my OCD. This is not important. But what we're going to do is we're going to end up coming back to this in another installment. So we're going to move these guys to where it suits my OCDs. And if you have any desire to start getting really good at developing stuff, you really need to start having your own OCDs on things, because cleanliness in your blueprints is going to become really, really important down the road. So this was totally not necessary right now, but it gets you to where you can see things a little bit easier. But the important aspect of it here is we're going to right click on third person animation blueprint. We're going to come up to retarget animation blueprints and duplicate animation blueprints and retarget. Now in here we're going to select our SK character city rig. You can see both of them are in a T stance. That's good. But what I want to do first is hit change. That's going to let us go over here to our character folder, players, animations, and unarmed. Now that we have that selected, we can hit OK. And we can replace. And here I want to change the third person underscore. And we're changing that because we don't want it to be exactly the same as the original one, or else we'll have two of the same name. So we're going to call this our Polygon underscore. And that's going to change the first person from third person underscore NMBP to where it'll say now Polygon underscore NMBP. And now we're going to hit retarget. And it's automatically taken us to that folder, and they're highlighted. And I'm going to go ahead and hit save all. Save selected. Now, if we were to look at any of these animations, bring them up, here's our guy standing there doing the idle animation, or whatever animation we chose just then. So the next thing we want to do is go to our blueprint here, and go to our Polygon character. This is super simple, guys. This is really super simple. We're going to click on Mesh over here on the left with our viewport active. Come over here to our skeletal mesh, and now we're going to change this. We can change it to any of those characters that we want. If we want to be businessman suit. Oh no, he's in a T-pose. Not a problem. So we've changed to that character right there, and we want to change our animation class to Polygon Animation BP, the one we created, and there you go. He is doing his thing. But you'll notice this collision bubble is just a little bit large. So that may not be a problem for most people, but if it is, then you can always come back and do some things to resize it and change it and so forth. But for now, I'm going to leave it alone. If it becomes a problem, let me know, and we can take care of that later. So compile and save, and now we can actually close this. Now, if we were to hit play on our scene right now and look, we're going to be able to look around. Well, what's happening here? We're just floating around. We don't have a character because we deleted the character out of there. So we need to look at our world settings and look at our selected game mode, or game mode override is none. We want to change that to third person game mode. Selected game mode. We want to open up this. Now we're going to leave this here so we can see something really quickly. And now we hit save all and save current. Hit play. Now I have a mouse cursor. I don't want that, but I can left click, and now I can see that I'm on this guy. We can run around and jump and do our thing, but we want our other character. The first thing I'm going to do is come over here to default Polygon class. Now scroll over and we want our BP underscore Polygon character. And now we're going to hit save all again. Saving is very important. Now we hit play and look, we got our character. We can now run around, go up the stairs, we can jump, we can do all the lovely things that we need to do with the standard third-person character blueprint. That's awesome. And I'm going to show one thing really quickly. If you get that mouse cursor bug that I get, I don't know if anybody else gets it or not, when you first hit play, you can't do anything because, well, you've got a mouse cursor. You want that mouse cursor to go away. That's simple enough. All you have to do is go to Blueprints, open Level Blueprint, come in here. There's nothing in your event graph. So what we want to do is Event, Begin Play. So we create that event begin play, and the first thing we want to do is set input to game mode only. We need to get a reference to our player controller. And yes, I got to make that neat. And then from our player controller right here, we want to set show, come on, learn how to spell. Set show mouse cursor, connect that up here, leave that unchecked. So that's going to say set the mouse cursor to basically be gone. We compile, save, close, now we hit play. Look, no mouse cursor, we can go right in and just start playing. Alright guys and gals, that is the basic intro on how to get your Polygon characters working. This will work with any of the Synty Studios characters. If you decide you don't want to be that particular guy, just go to your mesh, inside your blueprint for your character, come back over here to your skeletal mesh, and let's be the male police officer. You look at it in our viewport, see, there we go. Compile and save. Now we hit play, we're now the police officer. Alright guys, I hope you really enjoyed that, and if you do, give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't checked out the Synty Studios asset packs, I'm in love with the Polygon Studios, the Polygon stuff. They're outstanding. Give them a look. This is from Polygon City. And really quickly, since I was bragging about the demonstration maps, if you go to the Maps folder and double click on Demonstration, it's going to load that demonstration map. And as soon as it loads, what I'm going to do is immediately go into my world settings. I'm going to change a couple things, and then we'll be able to jump right in and start walking around on that map. Beautiful map. The guys that do the maps for Synty Studios do a really good job. Alright, so it's loading that up, and as soon as it loads up, all we really need to do is change the game mode override to third-person game mode, and we already got our character here. That's already saved. It's going to compile its shaders really quickly, and while it's compiling its shaders, let's zoom out and take a look. This is a really cool city. Really, really cool. As you can see, this gray area over here will turn into water as soon as the shaders finish compiling. I love these rings. There's 4 rings that you can place into your map. God, I will put this this asset pack in, even if I'm not using any of the characters or anything else, just so I can get those 4 rings. Absolutely love those things, because when you're in the map, especially, and while we're waiting for this to finish doing its shaders, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Really cool details in here. Really, really cool. I'm actually going to come right over here, and we're going to spawn over at City Hall. Spent a lot of time walking around this map, by the way. We're actually going to go ahead and throw in a player start. So right here in our box on the left, I'm going to grab a player start, and I'm just going to drag it into the map. And I'm just going to grab my rotate tool, and I'm going to rotate it around 180 degrees, and there we go. So I'm going to go ahead and hit save all while it's finishing its shaders. I only got 30 left. And then as soon as it does that, I'm going to hit save current. And there we go. Shaders are done. So now if we hit play, we'll be able to just jump right in and walk around the map and take a look at things. So hit play. We are now, and so we have the mouse cursor bug, so I didn't change that, but we're now the police officer at City Hall. Got our police cars, got our traffic, Absolutely love this. Great asset pack. And what I can do in future videos is show you how to spruce things up, add some ambient sounds, maybe some city sounds going on in the background, and add some other functionality. But this is a great starter video to get you going and get you walking around the map. Alright guys and gals, I thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.